welcome back to another video. My name is Kayla Rundle if you do not know me, and I am getting close to finishing the motor. I'm just waiting on the shipment of my fuel system from Billetworkz and just a few other lines from Holly to do the plumbing for my oil catch can from Bushings. So today I figured since my car is on the lift, might as well take the time and install my brand new MGW short throw shifter and also a custom engraved Billetworkz shift knob. So I haven't seen these yet. I'm gonna open them up. I made the decision to get this product. I was having major issues on the track with my current shifter, which if you don't know, I have the Hirsch short throw shifter on my car, which is a factory option. It's not the aftermarket one. It would start locking me out of gears, probably because it got too hot, but I kind of researched it and it said that there was a lot of problems with the gears feeling mushy, so I decided to get this and try it out because people were saying this is one of the best products for the short throw shifter out of all the options. Everybody was recommending MGW. Guys, I've been opening up so many car parts this last month, it's crazy. It's the unboxing. I decided to go with the retro because I've seen a lot of people get the flat stick shifter and I didn't really like that look just because of the way the shift boot sat on it. I don't really like that line look in my opinion on my car. I wanted to go retro because everything I do on this car, I try to design it off the 69 Camaro as best as I can. And I just like the retro style in general and I don't really ever see it on a Camaro. There are lots of things in here. 2010 Camaro V8 arms. I assume this to be the shifter arm. Oh yes, this is so pretty. Got pretty. Just very good quality, really nice metals. I love this top design portion, this is the part you're gonna see in the car. Just really like the way it looked. Versus the flat stick was more of like, it looked like this. And I didn't really like that look. I don't know. This just classic and clean. And then it came with a few other things. It came with a little bit of the dyno mat, which is like a sound deadening material. A lot of people use these in the interior of their car for like sound deadening and holding in sound. The shifter also comes with like a high temp polyurethane bushing, which would be really nice and really sturdy versus the moshiness of the stock short throw shifter. Now, the part I'm most excited for is this Billetworkz shift knob. I noticed on the MGW website that there was like no options for the shift knobs. And personally, I do not like the ball shift knob style or the feel of them. And I wanted to figure out options because I've never seen like a Camaro with the custom shift knob unless it has like the stock one. So I looked at the thread pattern and I figured out exactly what I needed and found this company called Billetworkz, and I reached out to them and they do create shift knobs that will fit your MGW short throw shifter, which this is a new world of opportunities for all of us Camaro people. Hey, I got some stickers. So I chose to go with the titanium just because it matches the rest of my motor and everything I am doing to the car. I don't really want a white ball just because I think it's kind of aggressive for the interior unless like everything else is white, but I'm personally not a big fan of white in cars. Even though my car is all white, I just like to keep the interior simple and clean, mostly black, maybe with a few teal accents, and same with my motor. I didn't want to go like too much chrome or polish. I want to do all black, teal, and like just light bling for the places I need. This is what it's like out of the box. I asked them if they could custom engrave my Kayla Rundle logo, and it's actually right here in the corner on my car, but I designed this logo myself, and it is actually my initials, KR for Kayla Rundle, and I designed it to be my initials from like an up view of a track because I'm building my car to be a road course build, and I also do automotive design, so I wanted more of an industrial feel, so I kind of went with like more of a squarish logo. I'm really proud of this logo and I love it, and I've been putting it across all of my brand on my merch and also on the bottom of this video right here. There should be my logo. I did decide to go with the tall teardrop shape because it was the closest shape to what the stock shift knob is right now, and I love the feeling of the stock shift knob. It's very, very comfortable other than just like the mushiness feeling of it. That's the only thing I wanted to get rid of. Oh my god, this is so cool. So here it is. It has my logo engraved on the top. I honestly didn't know if the logo would be like black or like lighter than the titanium itself, but this is so gorgeous. Love the black so much. Oh my goodness. And the shift knob is like a brushed titanium, and they can actually custom engrave any logo that you guys want. And as you can see, the feeling of it's very nice. Holding it like this and shifting's a lot better than just a ball this way. Fits perfectly in my hand. Very high quality, CNC'd at Billetworkz, made in the USA. I love supporting American companies. Thank you, Billetworkz, for working on me with this. I'm very excited to like find a company that's able to make custom shift knobs for the MGW shifters, just because I never see any options. I'm gonna start getting this MGW short throw shifter installed. And the very last step, but most exciting step, is installing my shift knob. This is so gorgeous. I'm so obsessed with this. We are inside the Camaro. Step number one is that we have to remove this plastic trim. So I got like a flathead, which I recommend using plastic, but I'm using metal. I'm gonna try not to ding up my trim. And we have to pop this entire system up so we can get to the screws below the shift knob. Work from the inside, from where the shift knob is, where the shift boot is, and then I just pop it up. Wow, it actually came off way easier than I ever thought it would be. I think it'll all just pop upwards. Oh, yes. And then I'm gonna slide this forward so it doesn't get stuck. This is going well. I should have done this a long time ago just to detail it. And then we're gonna set this whole unit to the side and get to these 4 screws, which are not screws, they are definitely bolts. And they look really tiny, like maybe like a 7mm. These 4 little screws that are not on tight at all. Ended up being a 7mm, exactly what I thought it would be. Now that all 4 of these guys are removed, they're just really, really tiny 7mm screws. There's 4 of them. So I was struggling to get off this little shift knob, and then I figured out that you have to spin it the opposite direction of what you would think you'd spin it. This pops off and spins to the right. So as if you were like tightening it. I was spinning it to the left like you normally would loosen a bolt, and it obviously was not gonna budge. I even like nicked it up a little bit. So I spun it to the right, pulled it down. Then from here, you have a little screw right in there that we have to undo. Then undo that screw. This whole shift knob should pop up off of this boot, which we need this boot once we install the new one. Put that in our cup holder so we don't lose it. And now this thing should completely pop off. And there's our stock Hurst shifter, shift knob. That's what the H is here, is for Hurst. I know they do make some aftermarket short throw shifters for themselves, which this Hurst short throw is a option from factory. So this Hurst short throw shifter has been on my car since I've gotten it. After we pulled off the shift boot, this is what it should look like. And then there are 4 more bolts around the shifter, which are 10mm. Luckily, a lot of things on cars are 10mm. That's also the reason everybody always loses their 10mm. Undo those real quick, and then hopefully we'll be able to pull out the whole system. These are definitely in a lot tighter than the other screws. Now, it says to pull this boot firmly, but I'm very bad at pulling things firmly. Also said that this should be loose, but it's definitely not. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I got a tab. There we go. Oh God, it's so dirty. I don't know why these back ones are the freaking hardest.
Springs. If you have a V6, you have to go do a step before you get up underneath the car. Slide nicely.
I do everything by hand.
Are you get tired of doing that?
No.
I like how you have access to all these tools. You're like, you know what? I'm still gonna do it by hand.
For the content. Okay, so I have to undo this now. How far is it gonna go?
Just keep going until kind of like suspends itself.
Well, I'm gonna have to undo that too, but I feel like I should get this out first. I put this on it to lift up the transmission a little bit because we are going to have to remove this cross member thing. It has 4 14mm bolts on each side, and we're just lifting up the trans a little bit so it just gets off of this. The shifter is up here. This is the shift boot, and that leads inside the car. In order to get that out, we are gonna have to drop the trans quite a bit because the angle of it won't really get out very easy. So that's why we do have to drop the trans. And I also got polyurethane transmission bushings that are going to squeeze inside of here just to help stiffen it up a bit for track use and stuff. I got the transmission bushings while I'm in the middle of this just so I don't have to do it later down the road since it's already out. Okay. Oh my god, that came off.
This is amazing.
That came off so fast.
What are you doing?
Oh, it's like no work.
What's the point?
Well, I got off the brace with power tools. Came off in 2 seconds. Versus the other 4 by hand took forever. But now I have eyesight on the transmission mounts / bushings that I'm probably going to insert a polyurethane bushing in there. And then this thing is great. It's holding up my transmission for me so the whole thing doesn't fall back. While Max is trying to lower my fuel tank for the fuel system, which will probably be in another video. Now I need to figure out what's next. C-clips in here. Okay, now we have to get these guys off. Oh god, this whole... Oh. Yay. I got this off. This one had the little 10mm nuts right there that I undid. So you could drop your trans like this with the drive shaft attached?
What? No.
You have to take off the drive shaft to do this?
Yeah, you'll put the drive shaft at a weird, it'll be all kinds of bound up and shit. I wouldn't advise.
So this is like the perfect time to do it without the drive shaft.
Yeah.
It's probably would have taken me 4 days to do
Hey,
in my garage.
hey.
Oh, that hurt my foot, but it was worth it.
Work?
Ow. Now I gotta get these U-shaped pins out. What the heck? There's one. And the second clip.
Sick.
And this linkage should pop through like a wrist pin would. Oh, it's coming apart. This was in that, so I pulled the pin out of that to release this part. Now, they said that there would be 10mm bolts up it to release this little C part, but mine obviously isn't 10mm, so I'm just using a quick Allen wrench to crank those off.
You're doing great. No, anyone on the internet, very different.
It's because the more I press up, the more that metal piece digs in on the top side.
Eventually it'll bend.
Is that what you're trying to do, is literally like break it?
Yeah, it's kind of, not like break it, but like bend it to where it'll go around the cast piece and then up. I'm sure there's like some tool, you know, that's like, hey, use this for that.
Well, of course.
There's a hole that you can kind of, oh, aha!
No way. Hell yeah.
Now.
Oh, so it has that little clip and you have to push it.
Oh, okay,
see.
now you're gonna have to pull it. Ooh.
Alright guys, these are the clips that we had to try to push back. And now I'm wiggling out this whole thing. Alright, that pin is like basically all the way out. Just have to get around this heat shield. Woo! And it's out.
I would have such a hard time doing it.
Videoing and doing it?
Yeah, like I feel like recording something else.
I'm just gonna pull out those 2 arms that we got the pins out of and then come out, shifter. It's working, it's working. Yes, got got it.
Yay.
Holy moly.
Yeah, now you see what I'm talking about?
Oh,
Like, it's not the most fun.
that is not the most fun at all. Got the stock shifter out. It's pretty cruddy, pretty gross. You can see an obvious difference to the new one. We're gonna try to insert this transmission mount bushing into the transmission mount, which there's a little hole in there, and this has like the same shape as this, and so I'm going to try to press it in that way. I don't know how difficult this is gonna be, but it gave us lube, so I'm just gonna lube the crap out of this thing and use the vise to press it in as best as I can. I've never seen footage on this, but not very good at sticking things in, so we'll see how it goes. I guess we just lube the crap out of it. I'm just gonna put lube. Okay, just lube to the edge of that up. And then...
Oh, yeah. What now, dog? I'm sure it's sliding together just like you imagined.
Oh yeah, of course. God, everything's so easy.
Sheer defeat. I feel that. Did you move it up?
What?
Did you move it up?
Yes, you see this?
Oh God, look at your hands. Okay. Does not look like lube. Okay, no. Hear me out.
What? But what?
Flush against the metal piece.
Probably should like put it there.
Yeah. I would help, but I really don't want to touch that shit.
Yeah, don't.
That's her. Here you go.
Gang, gang. God, awesome. I'll clean all this up. Damn, I can't believe we got that in.
Go team.
Thank you. All right, and we got it in there. So you can see there's no more hollow point in there anymore. Got it to sit in perfect. Well, I'm gonna put the new shifter in, and then the same like wrist pin like thing, I'm gonna shove through here once we get it, the little, it's like a trailing arm bracket, it's like a U-joint on there where I'm gonna slide it through so it stays. Well, that pin's in. All right, so I put that little pin in, and then I can't forget these two little clips to secure that little wrist pin within the shifter. That just slide on in. That one's on. Okay, those pins are in. Now we just have to put back this boot. I think that boot is all seated. You want to make sure that boot is like properly seated in there, because a lot of debris will get in there and it will not move. This is what I've been looking at in here. So this is the boot, and you want to seat this over the ridges of the shifter. And I did put a plastic baggie up there on the shifter, so just so I don't scratch it. Trying to figure out how to set these properly, because I want the driver side piece to angle towards the driver. So it would be set up like this in the car, and then this piece on the passenger side is straighter. So this is driver, and then this is passenger. Yay! All right, the kit came with 2 different screws, and they actually labeled it on the thing, driver and passenger. The longer screw goes on the passenger side, and it came with red thread locker, Loctite. I'm gonna do the passenger side first, gotta remember it's passenger side. And the washers were already set up on the screws with the kit. I'll put a little bit of thread locker on it. Typically I just do like a line on one side. And then I'm gonna lock this on the bottom part where I didn't put the little dowel through the shifter. I just installed that piece.
A serial data, like CAN bus ones or whatever, which would be cool. Fitchin had that, find it out. Oh, I know what I do.
So I took the original screws from these back screws in here and I put them back on. So I put the flat washer down and then the locking washer and then the nut on top. I'm not going to completely tighten it down, so I'll have a little bit of room for the boot. And then I am taking the new boot. The new boot in the kit looks like this right here versus the old boot from the stock shifter looks like this with all these guys. So then the new one looks a lot cleaner, and this should slip right on top. And I'm kind of just gonna work the shift boot down below the other rubber piece that goes around the shifter. Tighten up these nuts. Should just be able to take off this film and apply it to this lighter color so this darker color can face upwards. And just like that. This should just inset right in there, just like that. So I took my shift knob boot and I took off the fittings that were sitting here. I just had to grab the black piece, and as soon as I grabbed the tabs out of the black piece, it all popped apart. And it's kind of nasty, but we're reusing it until I make like a custom one. But we're gonna set this down in the area in the groove here and just zip tie it on, and then we'll be able to put our shift knob on, and then it'll be perfectly secured after we put in all these bolts on the top side. And then these bolts should go in there. All right, well, we are finally completing the MGW short shifter installation, and I absolutely love the look of this. I have the Billetworkz shift knob, which is in the teardrop shape, and it's titanium, so it's decently heavy. And with my logo engraved, it is absolutely gorgeous. So with the Billetworkz kit, it came with 2 little nuts, and these basically just screw into each other. You take the bottom little nut and you screw it all the way down on your MGW shifter, and then you use the second nut to basically measure out to where your shift knob is going to be facing you with the logo. Obviously, if you don't have a custom engraved logo, it doesn't really matter because it's all the same. But I'm very detail oriented. I want this logo to be perfectly straight. So it took some, finessing with some wrenches, and it was an 18 millimeter on the bottom and an 18 millimeter on the top and a 19 millimeter on the bottom. And you basically just use these sockets against each other until you get it absolutely perfect. With the shift knob, it's probably the easiest thing to install throughout this entire build. You literally just screw it on all the way until it's perfect, and you do want to kind of make it as tight as you can. So I made it pretty tight to where I turn it against the nut we installed, and then the logo is perfectly straight towards us. You do not want this shift knob loose because it can come off when you're driving if you did not install it properly. This is really classic. I love the styling of this. It has like the circular patterns going all the way down into the shift boot. It looks really nice. But thank you guys for watching this video. Leave any comments down below if you have any questions about the installation or about the products themselves. I will have all the links down below in this video for the Billetworkz shift knob and the MGW shifter. So definitely go check those out. This makes a huge difference if you are a Camaro owner. And just your drivability and your drive quality, having fun with a manual car is super important. And this is probably why you bought a manual car, is to enjoy it. So the shifters makes our lives a lot easier when we're driving. It doesn't lock you out of gears. It gets you in everywhere you want. And I've had a lot of problems with getting into third gear, so hopefully this will combat it. I have not driven the car yet with the shifter, but I will probably do that once the car is completely finished in a future video. Stay tuned throughout the series. We're almost to driving the car for the very first time. I'm very excited to experience it. We'll have to break in the shifter, break in the motor, break in everything along with all the motor mounts. It'll feel very, very different, so it'll be hard to pick out exactly what made the changes. But the MGW shifter is definitely a modification that I've been wanting for a very long time. And this is the final look of the MGW shifter and the Billetworkz shift knob. It is absolutely gorgeous. I love the polished finish along with the titanium shift knob with the custom engraved logo. Definitely gives it a little bit of a Kayla personal touch to match the rest of my build. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you all have an amazing day or night, whatever time it is, and I will see you guys in the next one.